सम्झिँदा नि कोही बेला त आउँछ रिसै उठे सम्झिँदा नि कोही बेला त आउँछ रिसै उठे ममुनीको भाइले पनि पार्यो छ्यानी कोटे कि चामल फुकाइदेऊ कि त लाइदेऊ भोटे हस्दिन यतिकै यतिकै घुस खुवाउँछु ज्योतिषलाई चिना सचाउँछु बाल मतलब भएन बबाल मचाउँछु बाल मतलब भएन बबाल मचाउँछु यो तीजमा बबाल मचाउँछु हाय बाल मतलब भएन बबाल मचाउँछु घुम्या छ रे शिरमा मेरो 7.5 को सानी घुम्या छ रे शिरमा मेरो 7.5 को सानी त्यसै कहाँ चुप लागेर बस्यो लाड मानी देखाउँछु एउटीको झिल्के बेहुलो बानी हस्दिन यतिकै यतिकै घुस खुवाउँछु ज्योतिषलाई चिना सचाउँछु बाल मतलब भएन बबाल मचाउँछु बाल मतलब भएन बबाल मचाउँछु यो तीजमा बबाल मचाउँछु हाय बाल मतलब भएन बबाल मचाउँछु
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us as we look ahead to the second semi-final of the SAFF Championship 2013 between India and Maldives. In what is a repeat of the 2011 semi-final, both sides will fight it out for a place in the final against Afghanistan, who knocked out hosts Nepal 1-0 yesterday. To discuss this game further, I have two very special guests with me, Amoy Ghoshal, football writer, sportskira.com, and Mohammad Firash, chief editor of MaldivesSoccer.com. Amoy, I'll start with you first. Let's look back to the game yesterday between Nepal and Afghanistan. A heartbreaking result for the local, for the fans in Nepal. What was your view on the entire game as a whole? What did you think of the match?
I think it was a great effort by the fans in particular. I think they lined up for tickets from the morning. And it was a great euphoria around the game. I think all the 4 matches of Nepal, it was great support. As far as the match was concerned, I think Nepal were the better side over the 90 minutes. But having said that, Afghanistan showed why they are the best team in South Asia, They were pretty professional after going in front. And at the end of the day, it looked like it wasn't going to be Nepal's day because the goalkeeper who had a very good tournament until then, Limbu, made a mistake. And Rohit Chand couldn't convert from the spot. So maybe it just wasn't meant to be for Nepal. But I think they have a very good foundation now to build on for the future of their football, because throughout the tournament they have really played some good football. And end of the day, it comes down to, it sometimes is destiny or luck. And it was in Afghanistan's favor yesterday.
Firash, he mentioned both Limbu and Rohit Chand. Limbu's had a very good tournament. Rohit Chand has been decent, but missed 2 penalties yesterday. Whenever a team exits a big tournament like this, you always find, someone to blame. Are these 2 players to blame? What must be going through their minds right now today?
First of all, I would like to congratulate Afghanistan for advancing to the finals of the tournament. And also, I would like to congratulate the Nepal team for their effort.
Yes.
And coming back to your question, I would say keeper Limbu, it was a very big mistake from him at the semi-final match, because when the ball came, he know that the Sanjar was on that position, and he was not 100% confident of the ball. He should have blown up the punch out the ball or thrown away somehow. But he tried to catch it and he lost the ball and he conceded a goal. And also Rohit Chand, he missed the penalty. I could say it was a very poor penalty taken by him, and 2 times also he missed the penalty. So it could. And also I would like to mention about the Afghanistan game plan. Although they scored a goal in early, they were sticking to their game plan, and until the last whistle they stick to their game plan, and they played very well.
I think that the point to be noted is that Afghanistan is a very well organized side, aren't they? They're very disciplined. Even when they were leading or when they were going forward, they weren't committing too many men up front. Both fullbacks were staying back on a number of occasions. That's the biggest strength, isn't it? That they're very well organized.
Yeah, that, and also a bit naivety from Nepal. They kept putting in crosses into the box, even though they knew Afghanistan were physically superior in the air. And Afghanistan had some very good chances on the counter-attack. It could have been 2 or 3-0 before Nepal's good spell in the last 10 minutes. So it showed that Afghanistan, why they are one of the best teams in South Asia, or the best team in South Asia in terms of ranking. But I think a lot of positives for Nepal to take ahead, and I'm sure they should build on this now.
I want to add something. As Amoy mentioned that Afghanistan was taking the advantage of the height in the defense, but still they were not making so many crosses in their attacks. They were like building up from the midfield, and they did a lot of passing in the midfield, and they does the attacks.
So I think that the difference between the two sides is that Nepal, the most dangerous moments throughout the tournament have come down the flanks, while Afghanistan are stronger through the middle. That was would you say that was the the biggest difference between the two sides? In the center of midfield, Afghanistan was stronger.
Yeah, I think Afghanistan technically are a better team. I think if you look at all the 7 other teams, they have so many European-based players. It shows. And but having said that, if Afghanistan want to make the big step forward to the Asian Cup level, they have to perform well in these games. They just can't take the crowd support into consideration and just defend after going in front against Nepal, because when they will be up against teams like Philippines or Palestine in next year's AFC Challenge Cup, they will have to perform better. And as for Nepal, I'm sure they would have learned from their mistakes, and that tactically they were not at their best, because you can't just rely on home support to win a game. So both sides have to make some improvements if they want to get better.
Firaj, the referee's performance was a huge talking point. Of course, for the decision to award the penalty in the first place, and then to have it retaken. What was your view on the entire incident?
Talking about the whole match, I think the referee's decision was fair, but talking about that penalty, I would say it was a 50-50 chance, because after keeper hold the ball, he just took his leg against the Nepal player. So sometimes referees do give penalties, and other times does leave on play. And also sometimes I have seen referees has given red cards to the keeper. So it was a 50-50 chance.
And what about the retaking of the penalty?
Retaking, keeper moved earlier, so it's a retake.
Amoy, when you spoke about the red card, we saw Subrata Pal of India being red carded against UAE for a very similar offence.
That was the first thought that came to my mind, when he gave the penalty, that okay, now Afghanistan will be down to 10. But I think the referee was a bit generous there. But at the same time, he was a bit generous to Rohit Chand as well. It was a poor penalty on both attempts. So overall, it was probably Afghanistan's night, and they celebrated very wildly after the game.
Yes. Okay, now let's move on to the second semi-final between India and Maldives. Great rivals in the SAFF region have played out a number of very interesting encounters. Of course, things are a bit different this time around, Amoy, because India haven't been at the strongest at all, by a fair distance. What is your view on the overall performance in the group stage of this tournament?
Well, I'm not really surprised by India's showing, because I've been mentioning this throughout the tournament. The national team has gone backwards in the last 2 years. They are a work in progress at the moment. There have been some retirements. Some new players have come in. The regular fullbacks has been injured before the tournament. One of the key wide midfielders, Clifford Miranda, has been missing as well. And for teams in the South Asian region, when you miss 3 or 4 key players, it shows. At the same time, it's not easy playing 3 matches, in 4 or 5 days which showed. But overall, India are not one of the strongest teams in South Asia now. I mean, there are at least two teams better than them, and they are Maldives and Afghanistan. But in the group stage, it was a tough group. They had host Nepal, they had arch rivals Pakistan, and an ever-improving Bangladesh side. But end of the day, they made out of the group.
Yeah.
So that's a positive to take for the Indian side. But then again, Sunil Chhetri won't be there today. It reminds me of the 2009 final, you know, when the India under-23s were the underdogs. And somehow Maldives just couldn't take the pressure of being favorites. So maybe that will be in favor of India today. But overall, I'm not surprised. India, it was always going to be a difficult tournament for India. So if they can even reach the final, I think it will be a great achievement for this young side.
I would like to add one thing. As he mentioned, there were a lot of new players coming and some of the players injured and replaced. There was a lack of combination in the team because in the last game also, I saw that a lot of missed passes from the midfield and strikers. So they were unable to build a good game. So that might be a disadvantage for them.
Amay was mentioning, you know, Maldives not being able to take the pressure of being favorites in the 2009 final. Would you say Maldives are favorites today? And if they are, you know, how will they be able to handle that?
Yeah, because in this tournament, I think most of the people take Maldives as their favorites because of the goal scoring rate was higher than the previous tournaments. And also, I think the whole media and all the attention of all the spectators has been focused to Ali Ashfaq. So I think they will give a good fight against India, and also since he will be back in the squad in the team today, it will be an amazing game with both sides, from both sides.
Obviously, we'll talk a bit more about Ali Ashfaq as the show goes on. But what about the rest of the Maldives side? You know, the other forwards, the midfield, the defense, the goalkeeper. What is your view on how they have performed in this tournament so far?
Without Ashfaq, we played Afghanistan game and we went for a draw. In that match, we saw a very good combination and teamwork from the team, although we couldn't score from the few chances we created. And also, despite the physical play from Afghanistan side, the Maldives defense was quite well defending their crosses and their passes throughout the midfield. So I think they are performing quite well, although we couldn't finish some of the chances we created.
So Amoy, like we discussed, that India have not been doing well, and it's not a surprise. So what do you think is the major reason for it? You know, is it something down to tactical failings that are causing India to not play that well? Is it the squad selection which hasn't been great, or is it just a lack of talent in this current squad?
I think the problem goes back to the time when Bob Houghton was removed as India coach. We have had 3 coaches since then, and it's never easy at international level when you keep changing the coaches. So Wim Koevermans has taken time to get used to Indian football, and at the same time he hasn't had enough time with the national team, because we haven't played for the last 5 months, before the Tajikistan game in August. There was no match for 5 months. So it's never easy at international level for teams like India, where countries like England or Argentina, where you will just assemble for 2 days and play a match. And obviously, we are not producing enough players in the I-League because there's too much focus on foreigners. So there are a lot of factors behind it, but at the same time, you have to give credit to teams like Maldives and Afghanistan and the other teams of South Asia. They have improved, whereas India have been standstill. They haven't improved much.
Yeah, I think what's fair to say that this Indian team is very much a work in progress still.
Definitely.
Firaj, how does one stop Ali Ashfaq today? And is it possible?
Yeah, because we have seen Ashfaq is the best striker so far in the tournament, and we have seen Indian defense at times very unorganized. So he may be able to score a few goals in today's game, and also rather than that, he may be in the midfield to build up the game. So he will be pressurizing Indian defense.
Amoy, so the same question to you. Do you think there's someone in the Indian squad who can man-mark Ashfaq? Is man-marking required for Ashfaq? Arnab Mandal has had a decent tournament. Do you think he's going to be in charge?
I think firstly, one thing that will encourage India is that without Ali Ashfaq against Afghanistan, Maldives looked a bit toothless in attack. Right. So I don't think man-marking is the way out. I think even we see in world football, you don't really have to man-mark to stop the best player of your opposing team. They have to hunt him down in packs, whenever he's in possession, there should be at least 2 players close to him. Obviously, one centre-back has to get closer to him when he's in possession, and Arnab Mandal could be the man because, he steps up his game when he faces the better foreigners in the I-League. So I'm sure Ali Ashfaq can be stopped, but it's also down to the midfield. The service to Ali Ashfaq has to be stopped. I think if that happens, then it becomes difficult for Ashfaq also to have an influence in the game.
Right. Firaj, Ashfaq made these comments a few days back that this is the weakest India side he's seen so far. Coach Urbani then distanced himself from the comments, saying that that's his personal opinion. I don't think like that. Would you agree with Ashfaq on his comments, and do you think it's advisable for him to make such comments?
I believe that is his personal opinion about the team, so about Indian team, and also I don't think any coach will underestimate any other teams because as a coach he will want to win against any team and if he underestimates the team, the players will too underestimate and they will create mistakes and the team will go to pressure. So as a coach, I think Urbani made his comment that he respects all the teams and all the teams are strong. So I think it was Ashfaq's personal opinion.
Amoy, in the reaction to the comments from the Indian camp, Wim Koverman said that I hope all teams underestimate us. So Pratopal, the goalkeeper, said that we'll do our talking on the pitch. So maybe Wim Koverman is going to put up those comments in the dressing room for the Indian team to see.
I think he should. I think Ali Ashfaq is right factually, but at the same time, before the game, I don't think it's advisable to make such comments because it can come back to haunt you. So I'm sure India will use that as an inspiration. That they have always been the favorites in this tournament, and suddenly teams are like hitting on them and calling them the weakest team. So surely Koverman will use that in his team talk today.
Coming to India's talisman and skipper, Sunil Chhetri is obviously suspended for the semi-final. Big blow to Indian hopes in this game. So, do you think India can cope with his absence? Also, who do you think is going to be brought in to replace him in the side?
I think two possibilities are there with Sunil's absence. One can be that the team will be completely demoralized and, they don't have their talisman. Who do they look up to when they need a goal? At the same time, it's a great opportunity for the rest of the squad, to step up because all the focus on the Indian national team has been around Sunil Chhetri ever since Baichung Bhutia has retired. So it's a great opportunity for some youngsters to step up, and even, Nabi can be a real match winner today. And as far as who will replace him, I think Koverman will still stick to his formation of playing one striker. So it will come down between JJ or Robin Singh. But I think that will be a decision that Koverman will have to take.
Do you think that Koverman needs to tweak his formation, for this game? He's been playing a 4-4-1-1 for most of his coaching career with India. But do you think there needs to be a change in the system?
I think the general feeling is he should be playing two strikers because we have seen with two strikers. India have looked strong, in the Koverman's era. Even against Nepal, they started playing well when they had two strikers up front. But then again, a coach has his own ways of playing, and it's a semi-final game, so it might be a risk. Koverman might think it's a risk to not play an additional player in midfield. But Urbani was very vocal about India's strength in the air, so maybe they should go for Robin and JJ up front together. But I still feel it will be one of the two.
Firaj, speaking of formations and systems, Maldives have been the only team in the tournament to play three at the back. We've been playing a 3-5-2 system for most of the tournament. Yeah. Of course, Urbani has showed a bit of flexibility because the 3-5-2 sometimes converts into a 4-4-2 with the left wing back moving into almost left back position. Do you think that tactical flexibility is a strength of this Maldives side?
Yeah, Maldives has been playing 3-5-2 since the beginning, but at times, depending on the pressure from the other side, especially from the wings, the system changes to 4-4-2. So I think that has worked well so far in the tournament, and I think today also he will use the same formation and same tactics.
So Firaj, do you think there's also a chance for Maldives to gain some sort of revenge? They lost out to India in the 2011 semi-finals. This has been a fairly spicy rivalry, especially when we have a look at social media and comments on websites. There's a lot of rivalry between Maldives and Indian fans.
Yeah, Maldives has lost 3 times in semi-finals against India, so I think this is a high time for Maldives to beat India and win the tournament.
Fair enough. Amoy, the key battles you see today, we have Mohan Raj, who's been struggling at left back for India throughout the tournaments, all 3 games. Koverman is probably being a bit stubborn, trying to prove his point by sticking with him and starting him. Do you think that left flank for India is going to be the key? Because if Maldives dominate that left flank, India could be in trouble.
I think what was noticeable against Nepal was that Nabi, when he was playing in front of Mohan Raj, the left flank looked a lot more secure. I'm sure that will be the case today. I think it helps a defender when he plays 3 matches, he gets used to the system. So I think Mohan Raj will give an improved showing today, and Nabi playing in front of him will be an important factor. So if India can maintain that discipline on the left flank, they will have a good chance today.
What do you think, Firaj, is going to be the key area, the key battle between the 2 teams today? Where the match could be decided?
I think the wings will play a major role in building up Maldives attacks because in the past 3 matches we saw Maldives use their wings to in supporting the attacks and also making crosses from both sides. So, and also the midfield who is giving a good support to the defense as well as the striking. So overall the midfield and the wings will be a major part in.
Amoy, without Sunil Chhetri, India on paper looked to be underdogs going into this game. Is there a feeling of there's nothing to lose for this Indian side in this game, or do you think there's still a lot of pressure?
There's a lot of pressure and there's everything to lose. They are the defending SAFF champions, and a semi-final exit from this tournament is not good enough for Indian football, even though on paper there might be 2 other better teams than them. So definitely there's plenty to play for this team, and there are talks that the whole squad could be changed for the next assignment if they fail to at least reach the final. So there's a lot to play for a lot of players, especially the experienced ones.
And one key player for India today, someone who really has to step up, and if he does, India could win this game. Who do you think that player could be?
Has to be Saeed Nabi. I think he has scored in the last 2 games against Maldives, and he is the big threat. I'm sure Maldives have a plan for him on set pieces, because if India get the delivery right from set pieces, I think Nabi can beat any defender in this competition in the air. So he's the man for me today, and if he gets on the score sheet, I think India has a chance.
Maybe this is the moment for him to step up. Firaj, what about you? You're going to say Ali Ashfaq, I know.
Definitely, he will be the player be focused by Indian defenders today. His speed and dribbling and beating ability is a danger for the opponent defenders.
Any other player you can think of? Maybe Ali Fasir on the right wing?
And Ali Fasir in the right wing, and plus Ali Arif in the midfield is also, especially Ali Arif as an engine, he is playing a very major role in the whole team, because he joins the defending and also he creates good passes in the midfield.
Okay, so finally it's that time now where we try to predict the outcome of this game. Firaj, what about you? What do you think the scoreline is going to be today?
Compared to last 3 games, I would say it is going to be a 2-0 win for Maldives.
It's fairly bold, or maybe pretty much in line with what we've seen in this tournament. Amoy, what about you? Do you think India still have a chance?
I have a feeling that India will really step up today in the absence of Sunil Chhetri, and with all the talk that they're the weakest team, they're the underdogs. But I still feel Maldives have just a bit more quality going forward with Ali Ashfaq in the team. So I'm going for a Maldives 2-1 victory.
Well, there you have it. Both our experts predicting a Maldives win today, although Amoy thinks that India could make it a really tight game. Well, we'll have to watch the game to find out how it goes. India versus Maldives coming up in just a bit.
Main Samsung smartphone powered by Suzuki Way of Life CG Motocorp, brought to you by Shikarshu Kamalko Style Indica Herbals Hair Color Kapal Surakshit Rahansa Color Tiki Rahansa Nepal Tele